Now that we've got our data going from Spark into our MySQL database, we need to set up a website or some kind of web API that will talk to the database for us that we can get Unity to talk to. And to do that, we are going to quickly jump into Visual Studio, create a new project. And I'm going to pick Web ASP Web Application, and we'll call this one Game API.
Yeah.
Game Analytics API.
Yeah.
That sound good?
Yeah.
Cool, let's do it. Inside of this one, we're going to pick MVC. I know we're making a web API, but we are going to pick MVC, not API. And we're going to change the authentication to none because we're not worrying about security on this one because we're badasses.
And we trust all of you.
Okay, cool. So we're going to make sure that we have MVC ticked down there, and I don't want to do unit tests. Let's go OK. So just quickly, this is going to be using MVC. If you already know how to use MVC, then please skip this video. If you don't know how to use MVC, we're going to turn this one into a very quick crash course of MVC.
Yep.
If you need to know more about MVC after this one, then 3D Buzz has another whole tutorial series on MVC, which is, that's how I learnt it myself actually, and it is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tutorial series coming from the company that wrote it.
Cool.
Not biased at all there. It is really good though. Alright, so if you know all about MVC, see you next video. If you want to have a quick little crash course just to have enough knowledge to get through this course, let's get going.
Yeah,
so
sounds good.
MVC stands for Nick.
Model, View, Controller.
Hey, Nick gets 5 points.
Yay.
And inside of our Solution Explorer here, we can see that we have models and we have views and we have controllers. So the way that it works is when a request comes into the website, it looks for the controller first, which says, I'm going to do some stuff. So if you go to the default web address with no slashes on the end, what I'm trying to get to there, if our website was gameanalyticsapi.com and you went to gameanalyticsapi.com, that would actually correspond to home index, just the first one. But everything else, that's the only one that has an auto mapping like that. Everything else would go to whatever your controller was called to the method name. So if you wanted to get to the about page, you would put gameanalyticsapi.com/home/about.
Wait. Oh, yes. Sorry.
Yes.
Wait, no, but I mean, if in the home controller, you can just go /about, can't you? I don't know. Anyway.
I've not tried that.
I don't know. I mean, I know that /home would work, but
/home would work to go straight here.
I'd imagine that if just .com takes you to index and /about should, unless you've got like an about controller.
Let's find that out. Let's find that out. For our example here, we're going to actually make a new controller anyway. But before we do that, what happens next? If you went to go to /home/about, then it would come into this method here, and it would say, do some stuff relating to this particular call. At the end of that, it says, now return a view. And
Which
it says,
is a bit confusing. But
yeah. Well, this is the... What do you mean it's a bit confusing?
I mean, it looks weird.
I guess when you're first getting started with it, it's a bit weird. But then what this says is, this is the data that is going to be returned back to the user's browser that they can see.
Yeah.
And that goes under Views, under Home, and then we have our About CSHTML, or as I call them, SHTML files. So inside of here, we have use this area to provide additional information. This is the actual HTML that gets returned.
Yep. It's actually a format called Razor, and they call this is a partial. Is it? Yes, it gets dropped. Well, technically, it gets dropped into your layout, but we won't talk too much about that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So in normal HTML, you won't have these at blah 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 variables. But because this is rendered on the server, these get populated, and then the fixed up HTML gets sent to the front end.
Exactly. So let's show an example of that. Let's go to press play, I should say. And it's going to build, and it's going to run, and it's going to start up a cool little server for us, and we can see that it's actually gone to /home/about. Now it's done that because we were on the view, which was about, so it assumes, you want to be on that view, that's cool, let's go across. So if you were on the controller and you press play, it would take you to the default home. Here we go.
Can we try and get rid of the /home?
Sure. I don't think it's going to work.
Probably not.
I bet your lunch.
All right.
Ooh. Someone just scored a free lunch.
Damn it. I was so confident.
All right. So here we go. I have just put in the base URL of gameanalyticsapi.com, which is actually running on localhost. This is really the same as /home/index. If we run this, it's going to be exactly the same thing. Awesome. And if we come back to our Visual Studio solution and we put a breakpoint on the end here, or on index, and we run home index, we will see that breakpoint fires.
Yep.
And also, if we come back here and we get rid of that and we run it, we can see it hits the same home index. So let's go and play with the About page. Press play. So you'll notice that the URL down the very bottom left, I can't point it without moving the mouse, which will get rid of the URL on the bottom left, says home about.
Yep.
/home about. Which we click on this button, that's the same as us typing into the browser. Yes, we all know that one, and that has triggered the website to go. They went /home, which means I'm looking for the home controller. It automatically pops off the where controller and picks off the home part. It's running the about method, and now we're inside of here, and we can now go to the. If I step through this code, it says I'm going to return a view. What view? It's going to go to the views folder, and it's going to look for the same corresponding name, in this case home, and then it's going to run about CSHTML. If we press F11 to step into this one, then we should. So Nick was saying before that it's going to run the shared folder first, which is then going to come and run the about page for us.
Yeah, it drops your page into like a layout page. So if you only need to define your like top bar and your sidebar and everything once, and then and it'll just drop the rest of your page in.
So let's check that out. So our page here, all it has is a H2 for a title and a H3 for a message and a P tag. So that is this content here. But where did everything else come from? And that's exactly what Nick's talking about. The rest of that design layout came from this file, which is shared layout.
But this is more to do. This isn't related to MVC itself. This is Microsoft's ASP.NET MVC stuff. Yeah, a framework.
Back in the old HTML initial days, there was always you could have your template file and say, this is the main template, just insert a new piece of content here.
Yes.
So you don't have to recode the menu every single time and, oh my goodness, I've made a change to the menu. Now I have to change every single view on the whole website. This is going to suck.
Yeah. But overall, MVC is just, what would you call MVC?
It's a wonderful framework.
Is MVC a framework?
I would call it a framework.
All right, we'll call it a framework.
Or a design pattern.
A design pattern. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, and it can be implemented in many different ways. You'll also hear probably MVVM.
Oh, let's not get into that.
Anyway, it's still sort of the same. But
it is sort of the same. It's a variant of MVC. For more information on that, which Nick is talking about,
there's probably another tutorial for
go and watch the 3D Buzz's MVC tutorial series, which will tell you all about MVVM, MVC. What are the other variants?
There's a few.
There's a lot out there.
Yeah.
MVC.
Something like that.
Anyway, all right, let's talk about something else here. What can we do? If we want to pass some data back to the user, then we're going to let's keep on focusing on about. We can pass in our own model. If we want to pass some specific data back to the about page, let's go ahead and create this a class inside of our models, and we'll call this class about.
Why don't we call it something should we call it something that we're actually going to use?
Well, we're going to wipe this. Okay, yeah, all right. Let's call
so
it.
just for so we can tie this to the series.
Yeah, cool. So in the other one, we're looking for these. Let's put in level name and level version.
Okay.
Just 2 columns for now. We're not going to make a database connection, but we'll use these same
We'll call
things.
it level.
So we'll I'm not going to call it level. I'm going to call it player path by clicks.
Well, but if we don't have everything, that's just a level. If we're only a level version and level name.
All right, cool. Nick wins. Level.
Yeah.
Details.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, and inside of this, we'll put a public string
Level name.
Get set and level version.
Yeah. So this is where the M in the MVC comes in. It defines the data that you'll be returning to your view through your controller.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it does. All right, so which is a weird one. If the connection comes into the controller and then goes to the model, back to the controller to the view, you think you could call it like CMCV, controller model, controller view.
Yeah, true. If it's like a loop around, yeah.
But if you just, from a marketing point of view, if you want your TLA, your 3-letter acronym to sound really nice, it needs to flow off the tongue. MVC, not CMCV.
Yeah, true.
Corporate world, man.
Very
always
true.
need more TLAs.
Yeah.
All right, so here we have our class, which we've called level details, which resides inside of the models. So I'm going to put control dot to bring up the using statement. We have we'll call this one model equal to new level details, which will pass in a level name of level 1 and a level version of. We've been doing this one for a while now, so 13. Lucky for some. It's going to be lucky for us because this is going to work.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to everybody else, just off screen, we had about an hour of wasted time where things didn't go well. So we are now going to have this model, just a class, that we are going to return to our view. So our view says, if you're going to pass me this, I need to know what it is and how to deal with it and where I should get it from.
Yeah.
So when we go to our About page, the other cool thing is if you don't know where it is, you've got a really big project, you can just go to the return view and go right click and go to view, and it puts you on the right one.
Wow, that would have saved me a lot of time.
You know about that one?
No.
Oh, it's pretty handy.
Yeah.
Glad I showed that one then. At the top, you need to say what the model is. And so we're going to declare our model type, yes, as now we say at models, because at says it's not HTML anymore, it's Razor.
Yep.
And we say the model is equal to Game Analytics API .models and you
.version.
Got to pass in.
Level details. Sorry.
You got to pass in the class. It's not a using statement. It says I am going to be expecting that I am passed this class into myself, into the view. And now it's yelling at me for some reason. We'll do a rebuild and that should go away. It'll figure itself out. Surely it will. So let's put in here div and another div, and we'll say level name is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
So now we want to get access to the details or to the properties of this class, and we need to mix that in with our HTML. So we put an @ symbol and go @model dot. Where'd my stuff go?
@model is just a. Wait. It can't. It's not resolving it correctly. So go back to the about. What? Oh, okay. What's the red for? Why is it redding? It's
Level
a type.
Details is a type, which is not valid in the given context. Level details is a class, which is what I expect you to be. I'm going to keep moving on with this.
Yep.
Because it's going to... Mine sometimes does this. It yells at you until you build it, and then it goes, oh, right, cool, I get what's going on.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's going to happen today.
Okay. Capital L.
Capital L for level name, and the other one was level version. So I'll bring in level version here. So now the output of this would be expected to see level name is equal to, oh, you passed me a model. What was the variable's level name inside of that?
Yep.
All right. So we'll go to our home controller. We'll put a breakpoint just here and begin.
And hope it builds.
It's gonna build, it's gonna build, it's gonna build, it's gonna build, it's gonna run. Just killing time. There it goes, is loaded. We could click the About tab that we already had open.
Yep.
We'll just click the About link. That's going to trigger over here to say, just make sure we got a level details model which has some stuff populated. We got level 1 and version 13. That is passing it into the view. We'll press continue on this, which will go to the view, and the view will now render itself. And
Yay.
it says it doesn't know what? Syntax error.
Comma expected.
Comma expected. Where would you
are
be
we supposed to have
expecting comma?
a semicolon at the end of the
Of this?
model?
No way.
I don't think so.
No, you wouldn't. You put equals here, don't you? Sure, you put equals.
Oh, no, not
Oh,
equals.
not equals. Hey, cool. My mistake. Wow, it's just cool. That's what it is, and the next thing I'm expecting is what's going to be there.
It's still not. It's not a fan.
Well, these aren't going to work until we crash.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
The cool thing is you can't change your controller while you have everything running, but you can change your system pages while you're doing stuff. More things are being added all the time. You can change because they're just kind of HTML pages. They get built on the fly.
Yep.
So we can come back here and run our home about and remove the breakpoint. Loading, loading, loading. I said built, I probably said compiled. But there we go. So we're on the about page. We have that description, which is the H2, and here is the information that we provided, which is reading itself from the class.
All right. So what we've just made is a view, and it's not an API.
It is not an API, no. The API part we'll actually cover in the next video when we start building our actual web API.
Oh, okay.
This was just supposed to be a crash course to MVC, so that hopefully the people watching along with this one go who have not seen MVC go when we start doing the next part go, oh, okay, I see what's happening now.
Yep.
If that doesn't make too much sense to you, keep following along. And if at the end, when we've actually built the API, you still don't quite understand what's going on, feel free to get in touch with myself and I'll help you out. Or I'm just probably going to recommend that you also go and check out the MVC tutorial series at 3D Buzz because it is seriously really, really, really good.
Yep.
And with that is going to end this video, and we will see you all in the next one when we get started building our actual API.
Sounds good. See you later.